Junior want to not be on my I can't really see what did I miss. Ex-strippers.
Hi everybody, I'm Lori. Welcome to my channel, GLP-1 Journey in Review. To cap things off, I'm a 68-year-old female. I've been on GLP-1 medications for almost 14 months. I've been on maintenance for almost 2 months. I started at 178 pounds. I currently weigh right around 118. It goes up and down a couple pounds because basically that's what maintenance is. I've used mainly compounded tirzepatide. I have used the brand name Mounjaro a couple times. I have found no difference. So welcome. And today I would like to talk to you about things that you should not do while you're on GLP medication, at least as far as eating or drinking. They're really not in a particular order, so I'll just dive in and start. So you want to avoid large meals because basically the way that this medication works is it's a hormone that's released in your bowel, and it slows down your digestion, it slows down the emptying of your stomach, it makes your pancreas secrete some insulin so that you don't get any blood sugar spikes, and it makes you feel fuller faster. It also sends a signal to the brain that you're full, and that way it also gets rid of some of that food noise. Now, those of us that are on the medication probably understand what food noise is. I did not understand it when I first started, and it wasn't until I started taking it and it went away that I'm like, so that's what food noise is. So you want to avoid eating big meals because the whole idea is smaller meals. And you may want smaller meals if you're still hungry a little more often. But if you have a big meal, it's just going to sit there and you may get that nauseated and sick feeling, and nobody wants that. Trust me on that one. And large portions could also help this medication not work as well because it's going to want to try to empty quicker. So again, smaller portions. One little trick that I've learned, smaller plates, and you don't realize that you're having smaller portions. I don't particularly like to go to fast food places, but I have heard people say that sometimes they order off the children's menu, even at restaurants, because some people just won't restrict what they eat, and I get that, totally get that. That's perfectly acceptable. I try to eat a little bit healthier, but sometimes I'm not, and smaller portions are good. And when they do serve you something in restaurants that you really shouldn't be eating, you're like, gee, I wish it was a smaller portion, because you just get tempted to eat more of it. And that's not good, defeats the whole purpose. And you'll get used to the smaller portions the longer you're on the medication. Trust me, trust in the medication does work. And also putting it into smaller plates helps you a little bit mentally thinking that you're eating more. Just a little thought, just a little trick that sometimes seems to work. And again, if you are going to eat something that's not quite as good or even totally off track, just a small portion. Trust me, with this medication, that's enough to satisfy you. You know, that's when it signals the brain that just a little bit is good. So you don't have to eat the whole pizza, just a very small piece. Or you don't have to eat the whole cheesecake, a couple bites. That should be enough to satisfy you. So another thing that you want to avoid are greasy foods. They're just not good for you, period, no matter if you're dieting or not. They mess up your blood numbers, and they mess up your liver, they mess up a lot. Plus, they're bound to give you some sort of gastrointestinal problem, whether it be diarrhea or just a stomach ache or, again, just a bad thing to do. Very limited amount. I know some people just absolutely can't live without their fried chicken. Well, just one small piece, that should do it. Again, we're on the medication. Shrink your stomach. Another tip for that, have a glass of water first because there won't be that much room in your stomach. So again, smaller portions, less greasy food. It'll help you. Your bowels will thank you. Everybody, your doctor will thank you. Your blood work will thank you. Trust me on that one. Now, you also want to stay away from high sugar foods. Cheesecake, very high in sugar. Brownies, cakes, pastries, cereals that are loaded with sugar, all that kind of stuff, because basically what your body does to burn calories is it takes sugar first to burn the calories. If there is no sugar, then it takes some fat. If it can't get to your fat, then it takes muscle, because it needs a certain amount of calories for you to function. Just to breathe, walk, talk, your body needs it. And that's the order that it gets it. You don't want to get it from your muscle, because as you lose weight, especially rapidly, you lose muscle normally with age, so you don't want to add to it. So if you avoid the sugary foods, your body is going to start breaking down the fat as the next best thing. And that's our goal. So another thing to avoid are soft drinks. Most of them are just absolutely loaded with sugar. And a lot of people, their stomach gets upset even if they don't have sugar, just from the carbonation. Kind of gives you gas and makes you feel a little more bloated. So if you're able to have just carbonated plain water or whatever. I know personally I get a lot of gas when I have carbonated beverages, so I just kind of stay away from them. Once in a blue moon, so to speak, I'll have some, but very rarely, and stay away from those soda pops. That's just wasted calories, absolutely not good for you, and it's just going to go immediately turn into fat because there's nothing useful in it at all. So again, stay away from that soda. Soda is not good. Now, as far as dairy, you want to stay away from the really high fat dairy. I try to get a lower fat yogurt. I try to get a lower fat, I really don't even use milk. I use almond milk, or I use coconut almond blend with no sugar added. But if you are going to have milk or cheese or cottage cheese, I try to buy the lower fat. I know sometimes it doesn't taste as good, and some people say, well, we're not on a fat diet, and that's true. You can have some. Everything is moderation with this. This is our new lifestyle. And again, you feel like some full cheese or full cottage cheese, not low fat, have some, just moderation. But if you're going to eat a lot of it, again, try to stick to the lower fat. Again, your stomach will thank you. Some people have a lot of digestional problems just from the whole milks and the fat milks and whole fat cheeses and so forth. Now, next thing, this is a big one, the highly processed foods, and they're everywhere. So again, moderation, we're only human, we're talking about a lot of these frozen dinners and pre-packed stuff. Anything in that chip aisle basically is highly processed food. Even those proteins are highly processed food. So again, moderation with those. And I understand it, once in a while you just don't have time or you don't have anything. You grab something from the freezer, you cook it, and that's okay. Like I said, it's moderation. This is our lifestyle now. If you do it once in a while, it's okay. If you have a couple of chips once in a while, it's okay. Moderation. You just don't want to do that every day. So if it has a really long date that it's good by, a long, long time from now, chances are it's a highly processed food. So again, just about everything in that chip aisle and snack aisle, highly processed. Almost all the frozen foods, unless you're getting some flash frozen fish or something like that, is highly processed food. And I never even knew it, but even my protein shakes that I drink every day are processed food. I don't like to eat breakfast, so for me it's a really good option. And I throw some low-fat, high-protein yogurt in it, so it's that or nothing. And again, I choose where I'm going to have my high-processed foods. Now, last but not least, alcohol. I personally don't drink, so it's not a problem for me. But again, moderation. Alcohol has a lot of sugar in it, and you want to stay away from. And it's okay to have your drink once in a while or your glass of wine once in a while, but remember, on these medications, just the way that they work with the slower digestion, and you're not eating as much, that people tend to get that little alcohol buzz quicker. So keep that in mind also. Some people kind of lose the desire and the taste for the alcohol. I can't tell you because I can't even tell you when the last time I had a drink was. I never really liked it. Had drinks once in a while, and the hangover for me just wasn't worth it. Even if I just have a glass of wine, I get a headache, and it's not worth it. But that's just me. I know people like their cocktail, and again, it's okay. Moderation. This is a way of life. And we want you to live your life and be happy and be able to stick with this lifestyle for the rest of your life. So if that means you're going to have a drink once a week, do it. But keep that stuff in mind, and you might not want to do it on a day that you're going to have some cheesecake with it or chips with it. Or again, you know your body. I know my body. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just telling you what works for me, and these are tips that I'm trying to tell you so that you have a better experience on your GLP-1 medication. So that just about wraps it up for me. So now you know what I think you shouldn't eat actually more what you shouldn't eat on GLP-1 medications. So that's it for this video.
Junior want to not be on my